Howdy everyone, this is LockNutz, and you're watching a mod review of the New Holland S2200 forage harvester by Skywalker Farms. Hopefully you'll stick around to see what happens. Howdy, howdy, howdy. How are you guys doing today? Oh my goodness, I tell you what, today we get to do a mod review of the New Holland S2200 forage harvester by Skywalker Farms. Ooh, I tell you what, this little bad mamma jamma right here is 38.1 megabytes to download, and as of this moment right now, it is for PC only. So you got that going for you. Now this little beast, oh my gosh, you might be telling yourself, well, I can't afford that. Well, I can tell you for sure, you can't afford not to get this little guy right here. This unit right here is $30,000. Oh my goodness, you take a look at that. You take a look at that. Let that soak in. $30,000 for 220 horses. Ooh, gotta love that, gotta love that. Before we start getting too crazy into this, let's go ahead and read a little bit of what the modder has to say. The New Holland S2200 was a forage harvester manufactured in Europe in the mid-80s. With a modest 220 horsepower and heads that barely exceeded the transportation width of this machine, it made the S2200 ideal for the smaller European farmers who wanted a reliable chopper. This model has been specifically imported to the United States to suit the needs of smaller dairy farmers who want a trusty, reliable machine with a low price tag. Now that is something that you can definitely say is going on with this. Like I said, this little bad mamma jamma right here is only $30,000. I forgot there for a second. I do apologize. $30,000 for this little bad mamma jamma. And let's take a little bit deeper dive into what's going on by seeing what it says in the shop. And here it is for $30,000. Now, $30,000 is a little bit cheaper than all of them. It's way cheaper. It's super, super cheap. But you know what? Just because it's cheap doesn't mean that it doesn't do a great job. Now, let's jump in here and take a look at this. You do have two different tire styles. The Trelleborg, which has a standard setup, and then the Michelin, where you have your wide tires. And you cannot change these at all. Just so you know, you cannot change them. If you want the wider tires, you just have to get the Michelin, and it's $2 extra grand to get. So, I mean, it is what it is. And then you also have the ability to change the rim color between white or yellow. It's only $10 to paint them white, so I mean, that's not that big of a deal. I personally like the yellow on yellow, but that's just me, so that's where I'm standing. Now, if you go ahead and, like I said, you take a look at this, it is 220 horsepower. It has 350 liter tank. It can travel at 15 miles an hour. So, I mean, you're really rocking and rolling. And like I said, if you just really want to max this thing out in the price, it's $32,010. It's not bad at all by any means. And this pack also does come with a couple different headers. Let's go ahead and take a look at those right now. All right, so here are the headers that we have available for us. We have the sickle header, which is 5 meters for a working width and has 6 mile an hour speed. The pickup does 3.1 and does 8 miles an hour. And then the corn header does 4 meters and is running at 6 miles an hour. And altogether, guys, as you can see, 5,000, 5,000. The most expensive is this guy, and that one does 8,000. Still much, much cheaper. You go back on this list, much cheaper than all the rest of them. Inside of these, there are no options available to you. So what you see is 100% what you get with all of these. that straight up price is the straight up price that you will end up paying altogether. So all in all, not too shabby one bit. And let's go out here and take a look at these on the machine. So this one right here that we got going on is the corn header. Now, when you think of a forage harvester, most of the time, this is roughly the type of header that does come into mind for me, where you have the nice little, the little spears, I don't know, the big disc with blades on them spinning around, grabbing the corn, bringing it in, and mulching it right the heck up. Right over here, we have the sickle header. So this is what this guy looks like. It does look a lot like a grain harvester header, but it isn't. The biggest difference is this just cuts everything down really low and then throws it into the back and shoots it out the backside. We'll take a look at all this stuff here in a little bit. And then over here we have the pickup header, which is the most narrow. This little bad mamma jamma is pretty much used for if you have grass that's laying on the ground and you want to pick it up. Like you've gone and mowed the grass and now it's time to go pick it up in a nice neat pile. So that's what we got going on right here. And this one here does have the small tires on them, so you can see you have the small tires right here, you have the wide tires right there. There is a bit of a difference in size. Sorry about that. They are jacked up much more. Now, when you go ahead and you take a look at this thing, you say, you know what, gosh darn it, this thing is just filthy, except for the rims. The rims look spotless. That's cool, awfully amazing. But you take a look at this thing, and this thing is absolutely dirty. From what I understand, this little bad mamma jamma was intentionally made to be dirty just because of the fact that this is an old used vehicle. And that's what the modder wanted to duplicate. So let's come in here and turn this thing on really quick. We'll turn this on so you kind of take a look at some of the animations we got going on here. And as you can see in here, you have your, there's got your gears spinning. You have your header's working nice and neat. You got your belts spinning in there. Now that stuff down there, that doesn't really do much until you go ahead and drop this. So we'll go ahead and take a look at that in just a bit here. But other than that, it's looking pretty darn neat. It's got a nice sound to it and everything. Let's hop in this thing. Let's get in first person. See how she ends up looking. Oh, you know what? I see one flaw. One flaw. There's no cup holder for my coffee. Son of a gun. What are you going to do? Alright, so let's drive this a little bit. And your view was pretty darn good from in here. I'm looking at trying to hear some different sounds. Yeah, and you pretty much rev that sucker up, and it's pretty quiet in here. Kind of surprisingly. It kind of feels a little quiet. So that's not too bad. It's nice on the ears, that's for darn sure. At this moment right here, guys, I think what we're going to go ahead and do... Oop, gotta get out of the tractor here. Nope. Alright, there we go. At this moment right here, guys, what I'm going to go ahead and do is I am going to get these guys all set up by the respected fields out here for us to go ahead and do a little demonstration, and then I'll bring you right back in so you can take a look at this. Alright, so here we go. We got our other two harvesters sitting over there, and I wanted to go ahead and start us over here so you could see how this all ends up working. Now, as you can see, we have to open up the chute right here, or open up the pipe, get that out there, and it auto tracks onto the nearest thing. So that's nice. The function, it does function pretty darn well. You actually have pretty darn good turning mobility with this thing. So you have that going for you, and it just works out pretty darn slick, I'll be honest with you. So we're actually going to start off with this guy right here using the sickle head. And like I said, this guy here, it just goes ahead and picks up all of your grains and essentially just harvests them like you would corn or grass or anything like that. So let's go ahead and get this guy out here rocking and rolling. And as you can see, it functions very, very well. Nice and neat. You got a good animation coming out there, nice and strong. And actually, once we get right about here, we're going to hop out here and take a look at this. Yeah, as you can see, it's got nice animation on this header right here. Yeah, like I said, it does have that old beat-up look to it, and that's the way it's intended. This is at max, well, well, max health is the best way to describe it. There's no damage on this thing at all. It just, again, it's supposed to simulate that it's old, it's beat up, it's used, it's been around the block a couple times, and that's kind of how we're looking at it. It really is just an old, beat up thing that we've kind of neglected and left alone for a little while, and now it's just rocking and rolling all on its own. So as you can see, guys, it's got great animation for what's going on here. And let's go ahead and turn that guy off for just 1 second as we run over here and take a look at the corn harvester. Now, if you're going to go ahead and make silage, most everybody goes ahead and does it by, let's say, cutting grass and making bales and all that jazz. Well, if you go ahead and you do it like this, you're going to get a much higher yield if you go ahead and plant corn as opposed to grass. And it is what it is. I mean, that is pretty slick. I'm going to kind of drive us off to the edge here so we can get a better view of it. And it does work out really slick. Gathering up all that corn right there and just shooting it all back in there. It's awfully slick. Awfully slick. Like I said, that's nice animation where it's taking and grinding it up. You can see it a little bit better now that we're getting a top view versus a side profile shot. But that is pretty slick. Pretty darn slick. And again, you got all your belts and doodads moving over there. Very nice. Very nice. I do like that quite a bit. Let's run over here through our corn maze and take a look at the last little guy. Now, in this type of scenario, what I ended up doing is I cut the grass first. Now, instead of going ahead and spending all that money on a forage wagon, whatever you want to call it, forage wagon is what I like to call it, where it'll pick the grass up from the ground for you. If you already have this little bad mamma jamma, and you have a trailer, like we talked about, that header that's on here, this pickup header, it's only $5,000. So to go for $5,000, you almost can't beat the price. And if you already have the forage harvester, I mean, you already got it rocking and rolling. So we'll go ahead and drop this little guy right here and drive along and just pick the grass right up off the ground. As you can see, I'm gonna try and drive in a straight line. We'll see what ends up happening. As you can see, guys, it does has nice animation where it's picking up the grass and shooting it back out the backside. Oh man, this is super slick. I really like the animation. I really like the price. It sounds nice as well. And I tell you what, it definitely is going to make your harvesting days, especially making silage any way you want to feed your cows, make your cows happy, or just go ahead and make it yourself. Guys, this is a great little mod that's on here. I think Skywalker Farms did an absolutely amazing job on this thing. I can't wait to go ahead and get one of these. Yeah, I think I'd only need one of these. I think I'd only need to get one of these for my farm. But guys, I tell you what, this is a great mod. Don't take my word for it. Go ahead, download it for yourself. Let me know what you got to say about it. Comment down below. Comment. Let me know what you have to think about this little bad mamma jamma. And how do you like to use it on your farm? Oh my goodness, I tell you what, if you're liking what you're hearing, liking what you're seeing, go ahead and just smash that like button. Help the channel out a ton by clicking on the subscription. Hit that bell, turn the notifications on, and have it set to all. That way you know when this and other great videos are going to be coming out. Oh my goodness, share this with somebody who likes yellow or silage. Or heck, even New Holland, maybe even somebody from Holland. Oh my goodness, I tell you what, guys. I tell you what, I say it because I want to, not because I have to. Thanks for stopping by.